Hey, what's up, guys? Jordan Anderson here. Thank you for joining me on this beautiful Friday. What is up? We're talking today about pricing, my favorite subject. It's a broken record to me, but I love talking about it. I want to talk about it with you today. I'm excited. Thank you for watching this live stream. And let's get into it. I got a nice little presentation for you. I got, we had a great one on Monday. I think all of these presentations so far, all these little PowerPoints that I've been doing, some are good, some are bad. It's not for me to judge. I am seeing that the more I put into these, go figure, Jordan, the more I put into these, the better they turn out to be. Or I feel confident in extemporaneously talking and just, if you give me a subject, I feel like I can go pretty far with it. But the more you give me a structure to what I need to talk about, or you kind of give me the bullet points, or like, it's like when you're acting and you're doing a take and it's like, okay, just give me the first line, or give me like, what's the first two words of the sentence? Okay, yep. All right, I got it. Thanks. Here we go. Let's do it. That's how I felt with these, giving these little PowerPoint speeches. To talk meta about all this live streaming stuff, it has something I'm playing around with it now. I've thought about it before. I am not claiming to be a live streamer. I've overheard my wife talk about this stuff. She's like, "Oh yeah, Jordan just started live streaming. He's only got a couple of viewers." And it's like, it's not about the viewers right now. I know no one is watching, and that sometimes is a good thing. It's not, to me, it's not about people. If you are watching this, I love you. You're here. Thank you for being here. But it's I can't put all my hopes and dreams into, are the people going to show up live at 9 p.m. on a weekday? What I have been doing, and the kind of benefit that I've seen with this, and I can't remember if I talked about this on Wednesday, but it's been a dual purpose content creation mode for me. And now I'm thinking about it, I did talk about this on Wednesday, that I'm recording this right now. I'm recording this into a professional microphone. So I have video of this. I have professional audio of this, which means I can make YouTube videos from this. I have the entire playback of this whole live stream, and I turn it into a podcast. And the medium suits for this, that, I would make YouTube videos in the past, and they'd be like little 5-minute clips, and that wasn't always best suited for a podcast, or how I would edit or do a couple jump cuts here, or I would say something that required visually seeing a graphic or what have you. It wasn't exactly right. But now what I can do, and what I've done so far, and I uploaded some videos today. I've got a ton more scheduled for next week to come out, and it's just been a nice way to do kind of a shotgun blast of get a ton of content, and get it all recorded, and then put it all on the edit machine and pop out a bunch of clips. So that has been the cool part. So if you're on the chat, I will say, throughout this whole presentation, if you have any pricing questions, if you are struggling yourself, maybe you're a creator, a photographer, a videographer, and you're watching this and you have some pricing questions, you maybe want to get it worked out in the comments, or if you have a question that you think might benefit the whole audience from reading or hearing, feel free to drop it in the comments. It's a two-way street, folks. Let's get into it. Enough of this chit-chat, dilly-dally. Pricing versus you. Yes, it's pricing is a scary thing. So today I want to cover a few things. Today we're going to be talking about creative dysmorphia. We're going to be covering our client's shoes. We're going to be talking about old art professors. And today my goal for this video that you're watching, for this live stream that you're watching, is that I want to convince you that your work is good enough and that you are good enough. I think as creatives, we're very sensitive, and some have egos, some have big egos, but some are, depending on the size of your ego, or both large and small egos, I think being creative also means you are a little bit more sensitive, and maybe that's just kind of naturally how it comes. Like when you're a little bit more sensitive to things, you're open to things, and you're kind of open to new ideas, and you're able to kind of absorb the world around you, get inspired, create some beautiful things. But with that openness and insecurity a little bit, and being kind of emotionally raw, we fail sometimes in talking about hard, cold financial facts, money, and also kind of standing up for ourselves. Another thing that I want to convince you that you are good enough is also that you don't need 5 to 10 years of experience to be charging over $10,000 for your work. When I was first starting out as fresh out of college as a filmmaker, I thought if I could get $2,000 for this project, I had made it. I was rolling in dough, and I want to tell you that the further I get out into this, I realize the people beside me, my colleagues, as I've grown up with them, we've all kind of grown up shoulder to shoulder. I'll look over at them and like, wait a minute, this person has way less experience than me. Maybe this is my job. I'm not a competitive person, Jordan. You're not a competitive person. There's room to go around. You'd see other people, and the jealousy will kind of bubble up in the back of your brain, which you just have to squash immediately. But you'll see those like, how are these people able to charge that much money? Like, they're not that good, or I'm better than them. And you start to realize it's not so much about the skills you have or how good you are. And we're going to talk about that and how to overcome that, our attachment to thinking that the skills are what's what, and then I'll give you a couple tricks here in this live stream. 2 photographers walk onto a job. One believes, the other doesn't. Who makes more money? Who makes more money? It's going to get weird today, folks. It's going to be a little less, like I already got my hair flying through. I'm starting to look like a finance bro here already. But today we're talking about pricing. It's not creative, frilly, frou-frou stuff today. It's about the money. It's about the pricing. It's about getting what you're worth. This might be an uncomfortable live stream for you today. If you don't feel comfortable with pricing and talking about money, buckle up. The one that doesn't believe is not going to make as much money as the one who believes. And it's weird because there are these 2 truths that kind of live in this world. I talked about some truths last week, that here are 2 truths for today. Those who believe they are confident are, and we are what we purchase. So the first one, those who believe that that one's self-explanatory. If you walk into a room and you are nervous about how you look, you are nervous. If you walk into a room or you walk into a conversation with a client and you are confident, then you are confident. If you feel like you're confident, then you are confident. If you feel like the most badass person in the room, then you are the most badass person in the room. I don't care what anybody says. You are. If you're walking into a conversation, whether it's on your website, whether it's presenting yourself on video like this, taking a selfie on Instagram story, all of that stuff, all of that is about confidence. And I'm not here to be a motivational speaker or to say like this is how you get confidence or you just got to believe in yourself, but that's a start. Just start believing in yourself. And I'm not saying this is the answer to everything, but this is the very first step that I want you to have, is that you have to believe that this is all possible, that you can charge what you're worth, and that walking into a room, walking into a sales conversation with a client, when it comes to your wedding packages, when it comes to your photography, your creative services, you have to start with some confidence, a base level sort of confidence. And I'll talk about and we're going to get into this. I'm going to cover everything as to why our confidence as photographers and creatives gets so warped and gets so a little bit shaky. The second truth, we are what we purchase. I wrote a blog post about this. This is from the Book Yourself Solid book by Michael Port. We are what we purchase. If our clients want to pay for something that they are proud of. Why do people buy fancy cars? Why do people buy nice houses? Why do people buy cool, stylish glasses that are overpriced? Because we are what we purchase. Why do people buy Sony A7Ss versus Canons versus GH5s? Because they want to associate that. They want to be that type of person that would own that type of gadget. It's weird. It's capitalistic. We are whatever our society, whatever comments you want to make about that. We are what we purchase. So if a bride and groom are thinking about hiring a photographer for their wedding, when we talked about those 2 photographers, one that's confident, the other that is not, why would they want to hire someone who is not confident in themselves? Because that's a reflection of them. That's a reflection of the client to say like, I don't feel confident in myself as the client, and therefore I want to hire other people who aren't confident in themselves. No, you want to, when you're hiring someone to do a job, a gig, you want them to have some confidence. You want them to be worth something. Someone who is free or cheap or not confident in themselves is someone that you don't necessarily want on your team, or someone working for you and expect them to do good work. So keep these two things in mind. Those who believe they are confident are, and we are what we purchase. So let's start with creative dysmorphia. I might be making up this term, but I think we kind of get it when we see creative dysmorphia. This is the kind of like, this is where our confidence gets kind of warped as creatives, and let's kind of dive into it. So it all starts in college. Maybe everything starts in college, but it starts in college, and I'll share my story. When I went to JMU, I was 17. I had been doing filmmaking since I'd been doing it since I was 13 years old. It all started really like, we would have like my birthday is one day away from my younger brother's birthday. So we'd have these kind of like, he would choose one weekend, I would choose the other weekend. And on weekends, as you get older, the birthday parties become less organized, and then become less like the parents aren't around. And so like when you're 12, 13, it's like you're a little bit more mature and you can have your own kind of birthday party. So that's like, let's hang out in the basement, let's play some video games, let's play some Guitar Hero, whatever it was that year. And I got a hold of my mom's video camera. She had a Sony camera, a little mini DV tapes where, the kind that you had to like rewind. And that's where it all started for me. We would just make home videos. Like my friends would show up at 9 o'clock, we'd eat some birthday cake, eat some pizza, and then like 10 o'clock, 10:30, we'd get out the Nerf guns, get out the fake Lord of the Rings swords and the lightsabers, and we'd make like a Call of Duty movie or something, or like some like ridiculous movie, and we'd shoot it all through the night, and it would be 5 a.m., 6 a.m., we'd shoot the last scene of the movie, and then it'd be 7 a.m., and we'd plug it in with the little yellow and red and white cords, plug it into the TV, hit rewind, and we'd watch the whole movie and laugh our asses off. And that feeling just kept morphing, moving further and further from me into saying, hey, like, my parents were like, you can get an education for this. Like, you can go to college for this. You seem to like videos. You're in these video production classes in high school. I think I was age 14 when I made my first green screen. And we're talking like 2007, maybe 2008 at this point. And it just kind of kept pushing further and further. So then I looked at a couple colleges, I'm here in Virginia, so I didn't want to go so far as to California, but there are a couple art schools. I didn't want to go too artsy art schools, but I started to look at like, what kind of colleges do I want? I landed on JMU because they had the kind of, I call it like the college experience, and also a pretty good film program. Film programs where it's like, it was either New York City, LA, Full Sail in Orlando. Everything else is just kind of like TV production or like media video production. It wasn't like a dedicated video production, but it all started in video production, just kind of, but born from a design department, a design school. So maybe you're an art major. Catch me up here. All right. So now you're like, it all starts in college. You're an art major, you're a photography major, you're a media arts, you're a design student. So you kind of have to start with, they indoctrinate you at the very beginning. They throw you in. Now you got to learn all the basics. You got to learn Final Cut. You got to learn Photoshop. You got to learn. This is very 101 class. I think ours is called SMAD, the Media Arts and Design School. So in SMAD, you did SMAD 101. You just kind of introduce yourself to, like, they would do things like the history of TV and the history of film and the history of art. And you're learning all these things, and you're just kind of plunging deeper and deeper and learning, like, here now you're learning things like the principles of design. I remember learning all this in sophomore year, balance, color, form, contrast, repetition, movement, learning all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'm making videos. I don't know if that's like exactly what is a part of it, but even things like typography, which I love typography. I grew to love it from college. And of course you learn editing, which medium to use, theory, collaboration. And you start to get like further and further into the college system, the kind of bachelors of art world, and we're indoctrinated. And like we start to believe that as art students, that these are the most important values to adhere to. These are the principles that shape our world. These are the core columns of our world. And that's kind of how I operated. I think that's how a lot of filmmakers, photographers, art majors operate. And then they get kind of further out into college, and then like graduation starts creeping up further and further, and you're like, okay. And you graduate, and you're still holding on to these values. And then you get to the real world, and you start to get a real big boy job, and you realize that you have a warped perspective, that the core values and principles in art, design, and rule of thirds and color theory, and like, it doesn't really, not to say that it doesn't matter, but then when you start to work in a business sense, and you work with other clients, and you work with other businesses, you realize that kind of stuff, that all those little principles of design really is just for you and like your own craft. It has nothing really to do with your job, or how you do your job. It's like, and this is where we have this creative dysmorphia, because we start to judge our work. We're looking at our work in as a freelancer, the work that we're getting with clients, and we judge it based off those values that we learn. We say, okay, this is a good photo because it has the rule of thirds. This is a good framing of this composition because it has movement. The eye draws you from the top left of the screen and draws you down to the bottom right of the screen. This has good flow. The pacing of this is nice. Because that's all we were taught. We were taught that these are the most important values. These are the things that we should know and we should pay attention to when we're judging our art, and when we're looking at when we're giving feedback to our other colleagues. This is, that's the structure that we're born with, or the kind of like, if we're reborn into the real world after we graduate from college, those are the things that are the DNA of us as creatives, that we learn those principles of design, and it's warped. It doesn't make sense, because then we start to work with clients, and we're applying some of these things, and yeah, we sound like a cool filmmaker, and we sound like we know what we're talking about, but clients judge things on a different scale, and this is where the friction starts to happen, and this is where our world starts to crumble beneath our feet, because you're talking about rule of thirds, you're talking about balance and movement and flow and color theory and emotions, and then the client has no idea what the fuck you're talking about, or what does this even mean, or what does this even matter. And we'll move on, because let's think about your clients. They aren't like your art professors. Your art professors, and I should have articulated this earlier, that's how you judge your own work. When your art professor came up and they had their hands behind their back and they're watching, and let's give some feedback to Jordan on his work here, on his Photoshop design or his image. Why did this work, folks? Let's talk about this as a class. What works with this? What doesn't work with this? And that's how the art professor is like living in our head. So that's how we judge our work, and that's how we work with clients. And our clients are not art professors. They probably didn't go. Let's think about our clients here. They probably didn't go to art school. They don't know how to use a camera. They don't know the first thing there is to know about color theory. They could probably tell you what happens when you mix colors, but they can't tell you what analogous colors are, or complementary colors are, or the emotions of color. They can't tell you any of that. But here's what they probably do know. They do know how to find the right people for the right job. They know what is right for their customers and clients. And they know confidence when they see it. So they know that if they're putting together a job, if they need a project, if they are looking for a photographer to help their business, they know how to find the business. Being a good business owner, being a good business person, entrepreneur is about the who, not the how. It's about, I don't have to know photography. I don't have to know Photoshop, but I do know how to find a photographer. I do know how to find someone who does know Photoshop and can help me with this business project that I'm working on. I know I've talked with my customers, I've talked with my clients, I know what their needs are, and I know how to create this project or create a concept that's going to resonate with if we're building a new ad campaign, if we're building a new website, if we're starting something new on social media. I know how exactly to talk to my customers, so I can talk and I can articulate to the creative, to the marketing team, to the ad agency. I can articulate to them what my customers are feeling, what problems they have. And I also understand confidence when I see it. When I see someone that says, "Hey, Jordan, I want you to hire me as a photographer because I think that I can help you achieve your business goals, and I'm confident in my abilities to do that as a photographer." Clients understand that. They don't have to understand that how to edit raw photos, or that how to shoot a camera wide open, or that you use film instead of digital. They don't have to know that, and they don't, and you knowing those skills, that may not translate. So, what are clients looking for? And in other words, what do they value? What they value. Let's figure that out. Clients are looking to achieve a business outcome, which is a very broad way to say it. And what are those business outcomes? What are some examples, Jordan? Outcomes such as revenue increase, product sales, email opt-ins, people signing up for a newsletter, people downloading some kind of PDF, people wanting to get access to a guide, email opt-ins, and website traffic. Some people just want those. These are all potential business outcomes, examples, not limited to, but these are all types of business outcomes. So this is where photographers struggle. This is the big crucial point. We're still in our art professor mode, art school mode, where we are thinking a good photographer is someone who can combine color, combine excitement, express emotion, capture a moment, get it sharp, get it in focus, edit well, know how to use Lightroom presets. We all think that that's what it is. That's what it takes to be a good photographer. It's not. This is where photographers struggle, because they struggle to translate their art into business terms. They say, okay, well, I shoot in this resolution. These are the types of photos. My photos have been shown here. They talk about maybe some of the clients they've worked with. But what they fail to talk about, and what a lot of creatives fail to talk about, and it's sometimes understandable, but after watching this live stream and after watching this video, you no longer have this excuse. You have to start understanding how to translate the work that you do, the art that you produce, the creative assets that you are making with your camera, with your mind, with your art school, photography education. Maybe you don't have an education, that's fine too. Some photographers are self-taught. And you have to figure out, how can I translate this into business terms so that the people that don't know anything about art and photography and color theory can understand it, and make them understand it and how it applies to their business and their potential business outcomes that they're trying to reach. That's the translation you need to make from art to your clients to their business. I should diagram it, but that's the translation you are trying to make. And once we understand this, once we understand how to make this translation, this is how you can raise your prices. This is one of the cornerstones of, it's one of the cornerstones of how you can raise your prices. When I'm able, I'll give you some examples of stuff that I've done. I have helped clients earn $100,000 per month. I've done that with video production, content, Instagram, Facebook. I've helped clients earn $100,000 a month. I've helped clients earn over 4.5 million views on a video campaign, and which led to tons of traffic to their blog, to their travel website. Because you must translate your value. I didn't say anything in these two examples about the resolution, what camera I shot on, how I shot it, what software I edited on, how cool my inspiration. I didn't talk of anything about that. This is when clients see this kind of stuff, when they see this kind of stuff, that's what they want to hear. That's what they want to go, oh, okay, shit, okay, damn. That's what I want. I want, how do we get this guy? Let me hire this guy, get him on a project because I want that. And I want that. And it's like, I'm not, it is entirely wrong. I would say that it's wrong to say we're dumbing this down or we're taking your highfalutin art and we are compressing it down into just some kind of business box that that can fit inside an Excel spreadsheet square grid. That's not what we're doing. We're taking the art and how do we translate this into something that can really expand the value of a business, that can really expand the value to your not just your clients, but your clients' clients, the clients and the customers of the person that you're working with. Because when we speak our client's language, I love this. I love this quote. When we speak our client's language, we form a deeper, more fruitful connection. If I just came into the conversation and I started talking about Canon and medium format and lenses and wide open and lens breathing and bokeh and vintage film grained, like colored, like they wouldn't understand that and it wouldn't be valuable to them. But if I were able to sit across the table and talk about how we're going to capture your client's stories, how we're going to, we are going to make it so that your clients, when they see this ad, when they see this video campaign, when they see the front page of their website, that it resonates with them and they feel compelled and they feel like this whole place, this whole website, video campaign, photo campaign, whatever it may be, was perfectly made for them and they feel like they're a part of the family. And when they feel like they're a part of the family, you know what? They're going to add a couple things to the cart and they're going to check out and they're going to increase the lifetime value of them as a customer, and it's going to increase the increase revenue sales for you as a business. How does that sound? That sound pretty good? Okay, let's do it. Let's get this photo project underway, and yeah, and you can sign the contract right here. Thank you. My name's Jordan Anderson. Have a good day. But it's like, I don't make pretty pictures. This is the translation. I help businesses get their message out to the right customers. So you need to figure out, I'm not saying think like a business bro, business management major, like tech bro. You need to think a little bit about if this person has no idea about art, about color theory, about any of this, framing, composition, that you need to figure out and this is where having an executive producer comes in. This is where having an agent comes in. That's on the high end, because some creatives like to stay away from all this. They like to hide and I just want to live in the art world. But not all of us have that luxury. Not all of us can pay a 25% commission to our agent that got us hired on this Nike job. Some of us got to go out and get our own work. And we have to talk directly with clients and have a conversation that speaks their language. I've talked about this, and when we're writing copy on our website, when we're writing captions on our social media page, that we have to speak their language. Talk like I do, and I will hear you, and it will resonate with me. And together we're going to form a really great relationship. I feel like we were connected. I feel like we've been best friends my whole life. That's the kind of connection you want to make with your clients. So let's ruffle your feathers a little bit. There are photographers out there that are less talented than you, earning more money than they should be. And I'm not saying because they are less qualified, but I want that to be a jab at you. I want you to let this fact sink in. You're like, okay, so it's not about skills, it's not about having the best camera. Then what is it, Jordan? We're floating around all this idea. It's about having the confidence and being able to have the right conversation. Oh, here, I already made the slide. Why, Jordan? It's about having the right conversation with your clients. If you were having a conversation about pixels and resolution and f-stops and ISO, it's not going to translate well. And then you're going to sit back and be confused as to why I can't sell video projects, why I can't sell this photo project, why I can't get hired by this ad agency to be their go-to photographer, their first vendor on the list. And you're going to wonder, well, the reason is because you haven't been able to translate the work you do. And this can be testimonials, this can be social proof, this can be case studies, this can be what you put on your website, the work that you do. I want you to start, you no longer have the excuse. You have to start asking the questions, what are the business results from the work that I've been doing? And you need to go back. If you have old clients, and it's a little bit harder with wedding photographers, but there is, because some of that is a little bit more emotional, because I would consider that more like a B2C. But if you're in a B2B setting, I want you guys to go back, ask the clients what actually happened. How much site traffic did you get from this project that we worked on? Did this help your social media? Did your engagement go up? I want you to start looking back, finding those stats and tracking those stats, and start thinking about how you could have done better on a project, how you could have translated the work that you did, translate the value to your clients, so that when you're sitting across the table from them, you're having the right conversation, talking about the project, talking about business outcomes in the language that they understand. Don't act like your art professor. Don't act like this, hidey-tighty, art student who thinks they're so full of themselves and they understand composition and rule of thirds and golden triangles and spirals and all that stuff. I don't want you to be that person anymore, because that's going to hold you back. It's great to know that stuff. Know that stuff, get better at your craft, understand the fundamentals, understand the rules of art and composition and design, understand all of those things, but I don't want you talking about that kind of shit with your clients. It's not going to translate in a way that's effective to them, that's going to move the conversation forward and make them believe that you're trying to make them to believe that you're a confident photographer and that you can do the job. And when you're hiding behind jargon, when you're hiding behind the art stuff, it shows a little. Your insecurity kind of bleeds through a little bit. And the truths that we talked about at the very, very beginning of this whole thing, that you are what you purchase, and if you feel like you're confident in the room, then you are. That's the core nugget of everything. I want you to figure out how you can translate your value, because when you can translate that, that's when you can start to raise your prices, and that's when you can start to say, I'm worth more. I'm not just worth $2,000, I'm worth $5,000. You know what? Actually, because this project that we're about to do, and I was able to help my last client earn $100,000 per month, $100,000 per month, that's $1.2 million a year. If I was able to do that with a client, I think for this project, we might be able to get, maybe we don't have the same size budget, but I think we can earn you an extra $25,000 per month from this project. And what I'm thinking, I only want to take about 10% of that. If I took 10% of that from 1 month's earnings, that's $2,500. Let's do $2,500 for this project, and that's how we're going to move forward. Because I believe that the work that we do, and if everything lines up, I think we can earn you an extra $25,000 per month. And that's the conversations you have with your clients. You make them see the value of your work and how it translates to their business. If you thought all this was interesting, if you thought there's some merit to any of this kind of stuff, I want you guys to go over to theperfectweddingpackage.com. Check out this template. Go watch the trailer on there. I want you guys to kind of the story that I try to lay out, I think is it's of course it's my story, so I'm in love with it. But I did some pretty good work on the video. I want you guys to go check out the trailer on the Perfect Wedding Package. Explore the options, explore the story behind the Perfect Wedding Package, and it is jam-packed with stuff. It's not just a template, it's not just a video course. It's all of that plus personalized coaching, plus a website audit, plus access to me on Discord. All of that, and almost a $5,000 value, and you get it for $97. So go to theperfectweddingpackage.com, do the fun stuff, like, subscribe, and I will see you guys on Monday. My name is Jordan P. Anderson. Thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your Friday, a great weekend, and I'll see you on the next one.